Okay, this is the winder. I've modified this thing highly, and basically all you have to do is ensure that you're able to clamp the top and bottom of the back plate coil frame. And in this case, because this wire's wound, you're going to anchor it and twist it with a drill. You don't want to wind it on a little small spool. You just want to loop it. So if you can see there, it's just looped on the floor. I don't want it to put any more creases in it. So I'm going to tighten it down on here so it doesn't move on me. Insert the wire after you check the trigger. Ensure that you check the trigger wire and you have continuity, because it's possible to snap the trigger wire in this design. Pull about 4 inches out, 3 inches roughly. Now we're going to wrap in the direction so the wire, the end of the wire comes off and goes into this hole. So with that in mind, you should always be able to wind them in the same direction. So now the way this core is set up, this wrap will fit perfectly in between this. I made it specifically to end up where the wrap, it fits tight against the last wrap, and that's going to give you a nice clean coil. So, and yeah, there's a handle on this thing, but because what I've done is just laid the wire out, you can see it laying on the floor. You don't want to put it on a spool after you've twisted it together. Just roll it up with a big loop, and that's going to keep it from being hard to wind. You know, it's basically straight. So it's going to make it a lot easier to do this, believe me. We're able to get one more twist in there. You got to be real careful if you're using something hard to do this with. You know, you're going to pull it out a little bit and then tuck it in there. And that means that you got a good solid base for that. And then it jumps out because it's basically not going to fit another wrap. So you get to start the next row, and it actually staggers, so it lays in the groove of the previous row, and you just continue winding this like this. Ensure you don't nick your wires when you're doing this. It's pretty easy to do if you got sharp edges on your winder. So yeah, let's see, it fits right down in there, tight, and we're ready for another course. All right. Get one more turn in there. There we go. Also, if you're winding this thing and you've got all this stuff ready, it's probably better to wear gloves. This stuff is pretty tough on your hands, and I'm regretting not wearing gloves right now, but you know, depending on how many of these you have to wind, it can be pretty rough on your hands. So. Okay, finish winding this, and as you can see, the core is just the right size for this wind. Now, there's one wire back behind there, but that's the end of the turn, so it's not going to matter. So you can see how even that is across there, and most of my coils all seem to come out that way. I've had a couple of them booger up, and I actually tore it apart and redone it because I wanted it to fit that size, because this top, it's real important. If you make it too big, then this isn't going to fit in there, and you're going to have to recut these pieces so they are thinner, and you don't want that. So that's the wound. We got to do the control boards that mount on the back of here, and then we're going to create the top and bottom parts, and I've only got about 12 or 15 of those, I think, to make, so you can see we're well on the way here. It's days of work, so it takes to build one of these coils like this. It's a good hour's work, so to assemble this. So in each one of these coils, I would guess that there's 2 hours work, maybe less if you get more efficient at assembly, but it's hard to tell because I'm shooting video, so I'm not got the best reference. I'm trying to do video at the same time. So okay, I've been putting these caps on. You can see we're getting pretty far into this thing. I should have this done today. Putting the top and bottom caps on. Basically what you're doing here is you're drilling those 2 holes, and then you're drilling the end hole, which is for the back to mount the control board. And what I'm doing is I'm using that hole to line these up, and then I'm drilling these holes. That way this can't be out of alignment, and it's working pretty well. So I'm just drilling these holes. I already drilled these 4. So basically I'm drilling those holes, and then I'm mounting them, then removing those, and then flip it over and drill the other side. You can see here, this is most of these are working pretty good. A few of them, the wire seems to be a little bit longer. I wound this wire a year ago, so I really wasn't sure if it was all 65 feet. Might have been a little longer, but because of the way the nature of the sequential firing of the coils, it can be a little bit longer. It doesn't matter. Some of them worked perfectly. They went together without an issue. That one's exactly 65 feet. I know because both those are cut and they've never been cleaned. So I know that one was when I did that one. So that's what you're shooting for. And this one, as you can see, looks a little longer, but it does fit on there. So when you make yours, you won't have those issues. The 65 feet ones went together perfectly. I hate to cut a little bit of wire off of something I twisted together. I guess it's my failing that I hate to waste that wire, but sure enough, I'm that way. So I'm using a clamp to squeeze it together, and because I was shooting that, I wasn't paying attention and didn't clean that out. So what can I say? I hate something to look unfinished, so we're going to pull that out of there. So, just to clean it out. So There's another one down. We'll have 15. I actually have enough wire for 16, as you can see down there, but that one, when I tested it, the wire was broke, the trigger wire. So out of 16 coils, I had one wire break. So I have to fix it before I can put that last coil together, which is not that necessary right now. I have enough to do what I want to do here. 15 gives me 6 on the small motor, 9 on the large motor. Those are additional coils because I don't know how it's going to react. You know, the wheels are 3 foot something wide, so I've never tried to push something that wide, that large before. The thing weighs 100 pounds, so it might take more coils, so I'm ready for it. If it does, I can put additional coils together. So, alright, I'm going to finish putting these together, and then we're going to the control boards.